You. What's going on, guys? You guys know what time it is. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. April 4th. We're here talking NBA. Jackson should be joining us in any second. He is waking up right now. Not waking up, my apology. He's actually been awake for a while, but I forgot to send the link, and he has joined us now. Jackson, the man, the mythical legend himself, is right here. We've got plenty to talk about today. Andrew Wiggins is Andrew Wiggins is let's back off. But Andrew Wiggins is returning, not because his wife cheated on him, but because his dad was sick. And T's and P's, first off, out to Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
T's and P's, hopefully, I think he has isn't Andrew Wiggins also from like a large family? He has like 3 brothers. I'm pretty sure he has 3.
Know.
I'm like 95% sure Andrew Wiggins has like 3 brothers. Really big family. And again, he's attending the game tonight. He'll be at the game tonight, Andrew Wiggins. We'll get into that later. But he's set to return this week. Then we're hearing rumors that the Dallas Mavericks are considering shutting down Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic as they hope to fall down the standings and get a top 10 pick. Because if it is not a top 10 pick, then they will have to trade it.
Oh, so it was Dallas we were talking about.
Yes, Dallas. I couldn't figure it out yesterday. It was Dallas who has the top 10 pick. That if they stay under 10, they keep it. If not, it conveys.
Shutting down Luka. There's 4 games left, Dallas.
Let's go.
Let's see Hardy, man. Let's see.
No, I want them to pull an Oklahoma City Thunder and go out and sign like Georgios Kalaiakis again and just have like the most full, you remember last year the Thunder for the last 4 of the games they signed like Georgios Kalaiakis. They had Poku out there. Georgios
Greek yogurt.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Georgios Kalaiakis. They brought him in last year. He was the last pick of the draft from the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, cool.
And the Thunder were like, look, we're really trying to tank last year. So the last games of this, look at this. Look at this man's stats. Ready? Okay. Thunder, 4 games.
17 points.
Look 41.5 minutes, 17.5 points, 46.4% from the field, 36 from 3. 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 steals, 3 assists. I mean, he got him a contract back in Europe. All right. He's playing for Panathinaikos. But yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder, after the Bucks were like, yeah, bro, like you were not worth the last pick in the second round. And like, all right, we're going to move on. The Thunder were like, you're the perfect guy for us to lose 4 games in a row. And they just played this man 40 minutes for 4 games in a row and lost.
I love it.
That's NBA basketball for you.
Yeah, I love that.
Ooh. That's what I'm waiting for. You didn't know that?
Oh, I was talking about the layout.
Oh.
Yeah.
But so let's get in the last couple things we'll talk about besides the Dallas Mavericks. We'll do a quick mock draft with the March Madness ending. There's a bunch of UConn won.
I got that check cleared this morning. Let's go see the rankings.
Dude, I came in 4th place in my pool. And the worst part is before I submitted my pool, I was like, this whole time I was like, dude, I really should put UConn, but I put Kansas because I was like, it's my last year.
Yeah. 3rd place, man.
Luke came in first. I came in 4th. If I had beaten Luke with Miami, I would have came in 3rd. Would have won $70.
$70. I won
$260. You took home 60?
$260.
You did? A
little pretty penny, yeah.
What'd you do it on? Like a friend's or like a parlay?
Yeah, one of my buddies from high school got like
a pool,
2,000 people or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did. We had my fraternity, like one of the alumni who was like a senior when I was a freshman. He's gone in like basically like the last 6 years of like Theta Chi alumni. So it's like two 300 dudes in like a big ass pool. And everyone, it was like a $10 buy-in. What was your buy-in?
$10.
$10, yeah, Sam. And then could you do as many as you wanted? Like Nikki wanted to do one.
I think so.
Yeah, like I had two like brackets that my girlfriend did, but like I put it was like Cyro too.
Yeah.
And like I just paid in 20. Yeah. But yeah, that's always fun. Like I'm not into like sports betting or anything, but I like the cool things I like are doing the brackets, the $10 pool brackets, because it's just $10 and you throw your bracket in and then you compete against your friends. Or have you done Super Bowl squares?
Yo, Nick he did a square for the tournament. I heard those are really fun.
Really?
Yeah.
You make a shit ton of money off of squares too. If you run a square, dude, you make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, he was saying like $800 if the score ended the proper way.
Yeah, my boss at the restaurant I worked at, he used to do a Super Bowl square, get everybody in the restaurant on to the Super Bowl square, like the waiters, the cooks, everybody. And dude, he used to have like a fat envelope he used to carry around, like just yeah. He's like, if everyone fucks up, he's like, I'm walking away with like thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like, if this doesn't hit, he's like, I win. Like,
yeah.
All right, so Andrew Wiggins is expected to return this week. We know he'll be at the game tonight against Oklahoma City Thunder. What do you expect? Obviously, what we heard, hey, yeah, Rock, yeah, Chris, Super Bowl Square is crazy. And right now, we'll talk about Andrew Wiggins with him supposedly returning. We heard Steve Kerr say that he's and has remained in basketball. It's very hard to stay in basketball shape, not playing basketball. So obviously, albeit we assume he's in really good shape, but they're still we hope there's 4 games left in the Golden State Warriors season.
3, I believe.
3 for the Warriors.
I believe so.
For the Warriors, they have a very short ramp up period with Wiggins. You agree?
Yeah. But so they did so with Steph last year.
Yeah, but I guess, but and they got. Do you think when Wiggins returns, they should continue running Kuminga in the starting lineup and have Wiggins come off the bench, or run the DiVincenzo in the starting lineup and have Wiggins off the bench? Because if we're going off the idea that they're going to treat this like they did with Curry, we know Kerr has no problem bringing guys off the bench until he seems that they're back into basketball shape to be in the starting lineup and close games out. Even though Curry was closing.
Yeah, I mean, your starting lineup in the playoffs hopefully is Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, and Looney. I wouldn't be surprised if Wiggins comes off of the bench, but then they give him minutes with the starters so he can get that legs and chemistry. Get the continual chemistry. With a guy like Wiggins, they're not too, just like Steph. Wiggins fits Warriors basketball so beautifully. Like, not really too worried about it, but it's safer, better than sorry heading into the postseason.
No, I agree. And with this being said, I think having Wiggins out there, I've said this all year, literally having Wiggins back, and now that this team has Gary Payton II, you go back to that 11-man bench. You have a starting lineup that you expect when Wiggins is fully back integrated. You got yourself Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, Kevon. Then you go to the bench. You got your first 3 guys off the bench: Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Dante DiVincenzo. Then you hit JaMychal Green, Gary Payton II, and Anthony Lamb. And right there, that's an 11-man rotation that they don't even have to go 11 deep.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Lamb.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 11 guys.
But that's the thing is, in last playoffs, they were able, some games will run that Otto Porter, Jonathan Kuminga, Gary Payton II off the bench, but then some games you wouldn't even see Jonathan Kuminga. You just see Otto Porter and Gary Payton. Or some game, you know what I mean? Or maybe one game they're like, okay, come on, you're getting beat. We want to go a little smaller, so we're just going to run JaMychal Green and Jonathan Kuminga off the bench with Dre and Andrew and Dante, so we can keep this two-way defense of guys, because right there you got a bunch of guys who can be two ways. What up, Joshua George? Long time no see.
George.
Yo. And Hey, Armis, I didn't see this, but
Whoa.
we'll address that in a second. If that is true, I'll do a quick little research while we finish up this topic. So we're gonna go off the assumption that Wiggins will come off the bench for the first pair of games.
Yeah.
That seems like what the Warriors do. They did it with Klay Thompson. They did it with Curry. I think they
What
bring
did
him up.
Dre? Wonder what Dre was last year when he came back.
But I don't know. It was different because Dre's.
2.5 months.
Did he really
So
miss
probably, yeah.
Did Dre really miss 2.5 months?
He's on his way to a depoy.
I did not realize it was 2.5 months he missed. It felt like way quicker. It didn't feel. I was about to say. I was like, it never feels like Dre long of time, but I guess it was 2.5 months.
Yeah, I think it was January to mid-March.
You're right, because he was the clear-cut defensive player of the year until January. I forgot all about that. So, yeah, no, it brings up a great point. We have also been seeing Kevon Looney come off the bench with Kuminga starting as of late.
I think that's just missing Wiggins.
You think so?
I wouldn't be surprised if they run some Looney off the bench. I think Looney is he's such an under.
No.
Center. But yeah, it's the playoffs. Probably won't see too much.
Kuminga has grown this season as a scorer, like as a creator. Yeah. And I really like the idea of Poole and Kuminga off the bench. And the thing is they've been using DiVincenzo more as a backup point guard as of late, it seems like.
Yeah. And Poole kind of sharing.
They share the playmaking. Like some nights Poole will have the ball more. Some nights DiVincenzo will have the ball more. But I think DiVincenzo will agree is, oh my God, Armis. Dude, thanks. I appreciate that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really appreciated. We'll talk. We'll wrap this up and we'll hop onto the Zion Williamson news just for y'all. But any closing thoughts on this Andrew Wiggins news? What do we expect? And do you think be a lot of rust to shake off? Or do you think Andrew Wiggins coming back is what's going to be the game changer for them?
I think it will be the game changer for them. I think there will be some rust usually. Like even KD had some rust. So they all got the rust. But hopefully Andrew can knock it off in one game. He should be good in the playoffs. And
can we agree, though? The difference between this is that there's no rust being shaken off injury-wise, like not using the muscles. It's it's more rust just being like,
maybe they tried it then.
Huh?
Maybe they just play it by ear.
Yeah, because I think it's more of a conditioning thing because it's not like, I haven't used this knee in 2 months. It's more like I haven't run up a court in 20 games. It's not like I was hurt. It's
hurt my ankle,
Yeah, it's more like I just haven't played.
It's gonna be cool to see. I'm excited for him back. I just double checked too. Kevon Looney last year in the playoffs came off the bench for about like a little more than half or a little less than half of the games.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So over here, our boy Armis just told us again. Is I saying that correctly? Armis, right? Armis.
Yeah.
Armis. That's how Armis Jones. Shout out, you're a dog, dude.
Yeah.
Zion, he wrote that Zion is preparing to make a comeback either versus the Memphis Grizzlies or the Knicks. He didn't practice last time, but expected to ramp up. Period to be short with our last practice of the season coming up. The information that I'm hearing from Bleacher Report right here, Timothy Rapp. This was reported yesterday. Shams Charania of The Athletic on the Pat McAfee show on Monday said the Pelicans, I'm told, are going to be cautious with it, noting that I actually missed this yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. I'm surprised, but Charania said that Zion Williamson is currently participating in some low-intensity 3-on-3 with coaches. And what else we're hearing? I'm trying to see. Do you want me just to play the Pat McAfee clip?
If you're allowed to, yeah.
Yeah, I can. It's a short clip right here. I think that's just, let me just play Pat's clip right here. Give me 1 second. I'm downloading it. And with that, we don't have to play the whole thing. It's just the intro of the clip that I think would be good because it's the first question they ask him. Alrighty, let's go over here.
I hate to just beat the drum on this because it's kind of already a dead horse, but is Zion walking yet? Is he crawling yet? Is he in a wheelchair? Are we ever going to see this fucking guy play again?
3-on-3.
So
Yeah,
this is the
3-on-3,
show
4-on-2.
where we try to have good information on Zion Williamson. So I'm here to report on my Zion Williamson beat for the Pat McAfee show.
Hell yeah.
Zion Williamson played in some low intensity 3-on-3 the other day. He played with some
What a
coaches.
joke.
So he's back on the court.
There was some intensity.
He's getting some scrimmage work in,
But
some
he's
low
coaching.
intensity 3-on-3 from what I'm
yeah.
told. And like we've talked about on this show, progressions is a big thing. Being able to do 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, doing it with contact, making sure your game shape is all right. They're going to reevaluate him at some point this week. We'll see. Will he be able to come back with 1 or 2 games left in the regular season? No. And if he can't, do they just throw him out there in the play-in tournament game? I'm not as sure. Oh. And another thing that I've said on the show many times, and I know, you guys, Ty's going to rib me on it, but the Pelicans, I'm told, are going to be cautious with it. They're going to make sure that they're going to bring him back when
the guy on the fucking court.
Feeling good conditionally, condition-wise, and also being able to play.
Is he bodying these coaches or not? Like, are we at 3-on-3, and you know what, we'll skip the fucking 4-on-3?
I think that's basically the gist that we needed of there, because then it's just going to be Pat ranting. But right there, what we heard, he's conditioning on the court. He's getting stuff done. And do you think that's going to be the difference maker? Because correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remind me last year, were they the 9th seed or were they 8th seed in the play-in?
Dude, I don't remember. I know we got a comment saying they were the 10th seed. I don't recall that.
Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up last year's standings. Give me 1 second. Western Conference. Last year, the Pelicans were the 8th seed at 36 and 46.
Yeah.
So currently they are the 8th seed with 40 and 38. So, and we've talked about this. They are currently tied, basically same exact record as the Lakers. I guess the Lakers must own the season tiebreaker because their Lakers are ahead of them, even though the Lakers have a worse conference rating. So I guess in season
it's head-to-head, man.
Is it? They don't do it by conference.
I think it's head-to-head. I still think it's head-to-head.
The tiebreaker's not conference; it's only head-to-head.
That's what I believe.
Okay, so the Pelicans, even though they have the same record as the Lakers, they're behind the Lakers, but they're both a half game behind the Warriors and Clippers for the 5th and 6th seed. So really, both the Pelicans and the Lakers, could really jump out of the play-in right now. I mean, these last 3-4 games are going to be a hectic stretch, and if you're interested in basketball, you better be watching this game. You better every team that's in the play-in or the playoffs, especially in the Western Conference, because every game matters. Every game matters right now.
Yeah, they got some interesting games here tonight against Sacramento, and then you play Memphis, where maybe it's back-to-back, so maybe Zion comes. I don't know. Maybe he practices, whatever happens, but yeah, the Kings Grizzlies. What are we? We're pretty set in the West. Sacramento is probably gonna still try and win this game tonight, but then they play the Knicks and then they play the Timberwolves. So, if I had to guess, I would unfortunately.
So what is that? 4 games they have? They have 4.
I would say that they're gonna not be the 6th seed just because I
think they'll go 2-2.
That's not the easiest, but the Lake Show, they got 2 games against the Jazz, then you got the Clippers and you got the Suns. I mean, anything can happen. Golden State, 2 of their last 3 on the road? Yeah, tonight home against the Warriors. If Golden State wins tonight, probably not for the Pelicans. As shitty as that sounds, because their last 2 games are Sacramento and then Portland. They should be able to beat Portland. So, like, if Golden State goes 2-1, and the Lakers go 3-1, it definitely won't happen. Let's see what the Clips got. Tomorrow, Lakers, they play Portland as well, and then that season ender against Phoenix. So I think we said 1-2 yesterday. I know it's just
hard.
It's hard, but they're playing great basketball. Brandon Ingram's playing great basketball, so anything can happen. We've seen crazier.
Brandon Ingram's been an absolute dog. And yeah. I think it's going to be definitely interesting. And again, with our boy Armis bringing up, and then what we heard Sham saying on the Pat McAfee show with the possibility of our guy Zion already practicing on 3v3, and he said he wants to play. He wants to play. And I heard on, I believe it was either Chris Haynes and Mark Stein's hashtag This League is Uncut or one of the Athletics NBA show, that last year's playoffs, Zion wanted to come in. And you remember last year we saw him do that windmill between the legs dunk?
Yeah, and I know. I forgot about that too. You said that.
And he supposedly he released that video as like kind of like
hey, watch this. Like
it was a shot at the Pelicans organization. Like, I'm ready. Like, it's not me who's holding me back right now. And so I think this year he really wants to play.
Mm.
Do you think Zion coming back, do you think raises their playoff ceiling?
Yeah. I mean, I think we briefly chat about this maybe yesterday. I still think maybe the second round, but dude, we haven't seen Zion in a while. They're a great basketball team. And, even last year, their 36-46 record is so, we were also just talking about it. It's so not how it was. This team was 8-21. Like, goodness. Zion, a healthy Zion, they got a lot because, like, they're still a lot with Brandon out there and CJ and the boys. Dude, last year in the play-in, they took down the Spurs and then they took down the Clippers. Like, you just want to be hot at this time in the season. And that's
100%.
exactly what they are. So I think Zion definitely raises it. I don't know. Once again, Memphis is not ideally the team you want to play. You don't really want to play Denver either, but I'm still excited about the future of the Pelicans. It's not like it was boom or bust this year. I think it's just
it's year
you want to
two.
be safe with Zion.
It's year two of the Willie Green era. Give it time. Give it time. Now, this team, what is going on with the Dallas Mavericks? Do you want me to have you read this report that we've been referencing that they are shutting them down allegedly?
Well, yeah, shut them down. What the hell are they playing for, especially with your draft pick? I guess they're a game out, so that's why.
Okay, so this comes from Sham Charania. The Dallas Mavericks could shut down Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving for the final games of the season if they completely fall out of the play-in picture. As of Monday, the Dallas Mavericks are one game behind the Oklahoma City Thunder for the 10th seed. The Thunder are also owners of a tiebreaker over the Dallas Mavericks. When pivoting towards the lottery, the Dallas Mavericks are currently 10th and could get to the 9th spot if and how they finish, and also the Jazz finish. If they pick outside the top 10, the pick conveys to New York. And this is the quote from Sham Charania. I'm told the organization is seriously considering the possibility of shutting down those two guys. They have a top 10 protected pick. Being out of that play-in race, it behoves them not trying to keep their pick. And at that point, you have the flexibility of potentially having that top 10 pick. You have 3 first-round picks you can trade this offseason to go get a star, potentially more players in the marketplace. They're going to be one of the more active teams, end quote. What is your thought right there? Do you go for the tank? Is it worth it?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, I think the report that Chris just gave us was the NBA Central. So I don't really, Kyrie expected to test the free agency market. He's probably going to test it regardless. I don't know. Like it's more of a not a smokescreen, but like, yeah, he's going to test free agency regardless, but his interest probably lies within Dallas. I sound like a beaten record. I'm a little bit sleepy, so I'll save the Mavericks some face in today's show, but this one's never going to work. These are both of the players on the screen don't play defense. Neither of these guys play defense. I hate the argument where it's like Dallas is good or Dallas was good and they lost so much. I get it, man. You lost DFS. You lost some pieces in that trade, but you also got an all-star player, Hall of Famer, Kyrie Irving. Luka needs a star. I don't think it should be Kyrie. But at the same time, man, if you're going to go down, you got to go down with the ship. Trey Young, they paired him with a
Dre.
defensive.
What about did you hear
Draymond Green?
Dre, LeBron
Yeah,
are trying to come
Draymond
down.
Green. Imagine Draymond Green and like Chris Middleton on this team next year. That's so much better than Kyrie Irving, and it's nothing at
I'm
either.
regarding to the. You didn't hear the report last week that Dre, LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka are all trying to team up in Dallas because there's no state income tax. Draymond and LeBron want to start doing business with Mark
Keep
Cuban.
dreaming, buddy. Keep dreaming. LeBron's home.
What
LeBron's
do you
not going anywhere.
Are you telling me LeBron? I could see LeBron with a bolo tie on, cowboy hat, loving Dallas.
I don't know, man.
You see, everybody's
How do
moving
you
from
think
LA to
those
Austin,
sports
Texas. You think
Yeah,
LeBron?
or LeBron was LeBron Joe Rogan? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think
LeBron's
so.
about to be the Black Joe Rogan. Or
I
everyone.
don't think so.
He's about to make Austin, Texas, the new Mecca.
But either way, the Dallas Mavericks, if you are Dallas, they made the Western Conference Finals last year, and I'm telling you, they have plenty of help. I feel bad for Christian Wood. I feel bad for Mavs fans because I think they finally realized, like, oh wow, yeah, he's really bad at defense. He actually doesn't do anything. They've lost 3 straight games, but I could definitely see OKC going 1-2 or 0-3 even in their last week of the season, and Dallas goes 3-0. They don't have the hardest schedule. You're gonna have to win some games, but like, I don't know, the Luka Kyrie thing. Obviously, it's not Kyrie's fault. It's not Luka's fault. It's not Kid's fault. It's not Cuban's fault. It's all their fault. It's everybody's at fault. Everybody's accountable here. Change is coming in Dallas, but at the same time, even though I worry about their defense and I worry about this duo's longevity, if you're in the playoffs, they got a fighting shot.
So I've said this: if you trade the contracts of Davis Bertans, Tim Hardaway Jr., JaVale McGee, and Jaden Hardy, those are 4 contracts. You can turn those 4 contracts into Kelly Olynyk, Simone Fontecchio, Miles Turner, and Chris Duarte with the 3 first-round picks you have.
What are you talking about?
You could trade and still retain Kyrie. All right. And if you, I know, but those are all 4 players that are going to be legitimately, realistically available for trade this offseason. The whole thing is that the Mavericks failed the Kyrie and Luka. Kyrie and Luka did not fail each other. Okay. They traded away Dorian Finney-Smith, who is arguably the culture setter defensively, and the guy who was the team's best defender. Now, your best defender on this team is Maxi Kleber,
who's a great basketball player.
Who's a great basketball player, but let's agree that having Dorian Finney-Smith with Maxi Kleber, way better defensive team. Right now, your 2 best defenders are Frank Ntilikina and Maxi Kleber. It's because it's harder to have 2 great offensive players who, yes, in playoffs, when they need it, they can try on defense. But during games in the regular season where they're not trying on defense, you don't have the rest of the team out there because I'm not going to expect Christian – when you – and JaVale McGee closing out the entire second half in the overtime period of the game for you, and the rest of your players are like Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, it's not going to cut it.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is bad. Yeah, I got it.
No, Tim Hardaway Jr. is great. We're talking about defense. Most of these guys on their team are one-way players. They only have a couple 2-way guys, maybe 1 2-way guy in Maxi Kleber, because Frank Ntilikina, not the most stellar offensive player. So the problem right here with the Dallas Mavericks is not Luka Doncic, is not Kyrie Irving. The fit will work. They're great offensive players. It's all about communicating. There is no defense around them. How are you supposed to win games when you have no defense, no 2-way players? You traded away Dorian Finney-Smith.
But they won 52 games last year, and their roster was not better.
But they had Dorian Finney.
Dorian Finney-Smith isn't the reason that this.
But he set the culture.
Miss the playoffs.
You would have a 5-man lineup where it was Doncic, Brunson, Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Josh Green or Reggie Bullock, and you were able to have these multi-positional defenders who have this versatile skill set that they could guard multiple positions, which allowed Jalen Brunson and Luka not to be exposed. Which if they had the similar roster last year, this team could go on that Western Conference Finals because we'd all agree that Kyrie, if you switch Brunson out with Kyrie's the better player.
But is he the better Maverick? No, he's not. This team last year had Kristaps Porzingis. I get it. You lost DFS. The last year they were a good defensive team. This year they're definitely not a good defensive team. But what about Sacramento? Where's the same stuff for Sacramento? Like, Sacramento doesn't even have a rim protector. Like, they're one of the worst defenses in the league statistically, but they play such a high-paced offense that leads to more defensive possessions. When I watch Dallas, I get it. The logic is there with your argument, but when I watch the Dallas Mavericks play basketball, especially in the fourth quarter, I don't see it. I don't see why it would work. I don't see how it would work. So, I'm not blaming Luka. I'm not blaming Kyrie. I'm not even blaming the front office. I'm not blaming Jason Kidd. I think everybody is at stake here. Yeah, if you were thinking Christian Wood, is going to help you defensively, JaVale wants to be a starter. Like, we all want certain things. So I think they'll certainly move on from Christian Wood. I don't know what Christian Wood actually offers them. He's almost unplayable a lot of the times. And I don't know why people still think he's never a center. So I love C. Wood, but for what they're looking for with defense, oh my goodness. I like the Thunder a lot, and I love what they're brewing, but I kind of want to see Dallas slip on in there for them, and I want to see Dallas in a 7-game playoff series. I think it would be cool. Like, imagine them against Denver or something in the first round. Luka's already one of the best playoff. He's got some of the best playoff statistics you'll ever see.
So right here, let's address this question by our boy, and that is Chris over here asks, do you think the Mavs will keep Christian Wood or they'll move on from him?
Move on.
They're going to move on from Christian Wood. It just makes sense. And the thing was, I think Christian Wood is the definition of empty stats. Like, okay, I love Christian Wood, but the Christian Wood experiment, the Houston Rockets paid him, and everyone was like, is Christian Wood a capable scorer? Yes. But I think what people have realized is Christian Wood is a more athletic, bigger version of and more offensive talent of Carroll. A guy who provides you no defense, a little bit of rebounding, and what you want is for him to just come in 15 minutes, green light, just score a bunch of buckets, and then come off the floor. That's his role in the NBA. If he wants to be a superstar, go over to Europe. But if he wants to stay in the NBA, he's going to have to understand he's going to have to be, a better version of Montrezl Harrell, kind of like the big man version of Jordan Clarkson. Come in.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. You're a 6 man. You come in and you shoot a bunch of threes. You have a green light. You play 15 minutes. And yeah, yeah, I think Jason Kidd doesn't like him, and Jason Kidd likes defensive guys. Marcy says over here, Kidd doesn't know how to utilize Wood. I think Jason Kidd's a good coach. I wouldn't get rid of Jason Kidd personally.
Yeah. I don't think, and this is from a Rockets fan, man, I love Christian Wood. He does not contribute to winning at all. If you want points off the bench, you have Spencer Dinwiddie. It's not Jason Kidd, and that's what I was saying is, yes, Kidd's at fault just like everybody else is. The Mavericks are interesting because this team won 52 games last year and Jason Kidd's first year, and now it's a problem. Last year, it wasn't a problem. Jason Kidd wasn't a problem. So it's just a combination of everything, the way the roster's assembled, this certain defensive backcourt, the backcourt in general. I don't know, man. As long as you have Luka, it's all good. It's just, maybe 2 years from now, he's going to probably feel a little bit differently. However, they did just win 52 games. So, and at least Mark Cuban showed interest in making a big-time swing.
My big problem is basketball fans don't realize the coach is not in charge of the roster. The coach is the guy who coaches the roster he's given, unless you're like Greg Popovich or one of those coaches who has roster control, which is I think there's like 2 or 3 coaches who actually go out and actually have roster control. Like
Yeah.
coaches usually
Like
have
Pop?
fine. I think Pop's one of them. Maybe the other one being Steve Kerr, where like
No,
Bob.
I think, or I maybe like to a certain degree, because I know Bob Myers was saying in the buyout market, like,
He'll
yeah, we'll
ask for his
Steve Kerr.
his
Yeah, exactly.
opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think Steve
Oh,
Kerr
yeah.
goes out. I think Greg Popovich is the only one 100% with RC Buford. He actually goes out and makes. I don't think there's any other coaches. I'm trying to think.
What this team lost. They
So this is Nico Harrison's fault. This is the front office. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to finish that thought. Jason Kidd didn't put this roster together. Jason Kidd, I bet you he's like,
Yeah.
I wanted Kyrie, but he's like, if it meant giving up Dorian Finney-Smith, I don't know if that, because we know Jason Kidd loves his defense. So people need to understand that, like, Jason Kidd didn't ask for Christian Wood. Jason, you know what I mean? Like, so for people to be mad that, like, Jason Kidd gave him the opportunity in the beginning of the year, literally was giving him 30 minutes off the bench, and it wasn't working. So I get really upset where people say, like, right now with Nick Nurse, they're like, fire Nick Nurse, where I'm like, I think there's got to be some gripe at Masai Ujiri, because like Masai is the one giving Nick Nurse these players, you know, like right here in Dallas. Jason Kidd's not the one getting these players. Nico Harrison and Mark Cuban are the ones giving, you know, the players to the coach. The coach coaches the players he's given, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to Marcy's credit, though, a good coach is what he can bring out of his players. So, you know, you think maybe, oh, he can turn them into something on defense, whatever it is. It doesn't even matter. Who Dallas lost their coach last year? His name was Igor.
Igor Korsakov. He went to the Brooklyn Nets.
The offensive genius.
Yes, and he had
The guru.
he coached Luka Doncic and Goran Dragic on the Slovenian national team, and he was also the Phoenix Suns head coach in 2017, I believe, before Earl Watson for 1 year.
So I think it's just a compilation of just everything. Like losing
I'm a
coaching
nerd.
staff is big, man. Maybe it's not like deep, and maybe it's not like the NFL where you're thinking like, oh, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach. Like these.
No, I think it is that
still
deep.
run deep.
I think it is that
Exactly.
deep.
It's just not as
Igor
like,
was the guy who ran the offense last year for the Mavericks. And think about this: Mike Brown last year was the guy who was, I believe, last year he was the offensive coordinator for the Warriors, and before that he was the defensive coordinator from the Warriors. And part of the reason why Steve Kerr made sure Kenny Atkinson didn't lose was Steve Kerr didn't want to lose Mike Brown and Kenny Atkinson in one offseason.
yeah, it's tough.
So let's move over here with the NCAA ending.
Didn't you see Victor Wembanyama on April 1st announced he's going back to the Metropolitans 92? Dude, I had two friends on Saturday come up to me and say, "Did you see the Phoenix Coyotes are moving to Dallas or Houston?" And it's because it was from like a Barstool Spit and Chicklets tweet.
Did you know what the number one trending thing on Google on April 1st, NBA related, was Michael Jordan returning to the NBA? That was like the number one. Somebody, I don't know how that prank got going, but the number one trending search on Google on April 1st was Michael Jordan returned to the NBA 2023. So I guess there was a Michael Jordan return.
Yeah, I didn't see that. That's funny.
I'm surprised no one's
like
what if there was a Kobe? Kobe is dead. That is too soon.
No, I think it's too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
It's too soon for that.
Kobe's been living in Brazil with the guys who escaped. All right. So right here, with March Madness having ended, the SB Nation released their post-March Madness NBA draft projections. And I thought this was a great time, you know, for us just to run through this. I think we're getting better at cutting these drafts down to like 10 minutes. We had a problem where, you know, the first times we go through power rankings or any sort of draft or any sort of fucking list, it would turn into a 30-minute ordeal. But today, that will not happen. We will run through this and spend it is 8:40 right now in Kansas. This will be done by 8:48. Start the clock in 20 seconds. we will be talking about the NBA mock draft 2023 post-March Madness projections. You ready? Who's your favorite guy that you think flown up this draft? To me, it's Jordan Hawkins on the UConn Huskies.
Okay.
So obviously, right now with the first pick, if they get it, it's the Charlotte Hornets getting Victor Wembanyama. If the Detroit Pistons get the second pick, it's supposedly getting Scoot Henderson. And goddamn, that would be insane because now they got themselves Jaden Ivey, Kate Cunningham, Scoot Henderson, and Kelly and Hayes. Yeah, I almost said that. Kelly and Hayes. I don't know how that would work. I honestly, personally think if Detroit was at 2, they might just take Brandon Miller. That's just my thought, because why the hell would you bring in 4 guards? I guess take best player available. Would you take Scoot if you're Detroit still, or would you take Brandon Miller? Okay.
I'm best player. I think they'd figure it out. I can get Cade playing the 3. That doesn't worry me. I would be, if this was the final 5, I would be so pissed off. Really good for Charlotte.
I'd feel bad for
going to 4.
Shut up! It's the Spurs going to 5.
About the Spurs going to 5.
The Spurs going to 5. I want either the Hornets or the Spurs to get Victor Wembanyama. I either want to see the LaMelo Ball with Victor Wembanyama, or I want to see Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, and Greg Popovich coach Victor Wembanyama. That's my personal opinion. You got the Thunder getting Brandon Miller, which I guess is a perfect fit, because then imagine the Thunder with Shea, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Brandon Miller, Chet Holmgren. That team might be contending for an NBA Finals next season.
Like Paul George or something too.
Yeah. Then you got the Rockets getting Amen Thompson. I guess that would help solve, not having a point guard, but it really wouldn't help the team. It would help the team. It wouldn't help the team shooting.
Well, let me fact it. We don't need help shooting, but Thompson is way more of an interesting candidate. Wow, yeah. What do we not struggle with? We're dead last in 3-point percentage and second to last in 3 points made.
Well, you're probably
so he wouldn't help that at all. Jarris Walker, I think he would be actually perfect for the San Antonio Spurs. Walker doesn't interest me that much as he's not going to be, 30-point per game scorer at all. Like, who is on this list? Like, that's not a proper. That the expectations are too high. I'd be more. Thompson's shooting worries me a ton, but I would take him more than Walker. I think Walker actually fits what San Antonio is looking for.
Well, your boy right here says he's cool with Thompson brothers or Scoot going to Chris. Marcy agrees with OKC.
Dude, NBA and more debate hits the nail on the coffin here. And I try and emphasize, I hit this so much in the offseason, and it was so annoying. I'm telling you, and I try to compare it to an NBA or to a pickup basketball game. If we are playing a pickup game and you have the ball hog on your team, I'm not saying Luka, Kyrie are the ball hogs on the team.
Yeah.
But before Kyrie even got there, if my name is Reggie, right, and my last name is Bullock, and I'm playing as hard as I can for 5 straight possessions, and not only do I not shoot the ball, I don't touch the ball. The ball's not in my hand for 5 straight possessions, and then I have a contested corner 3, 6 possessions later. Rhythm, I'm so glad he used the word rhythm. Confidence is also important in this, but it takes the rhythm out. It takes the flow out of everything. Basketball is so much more deeper than just statistics and points scored and assist numbers and rebound.
Oh, it's chemistry. Yeah, no, it's all about the flow of the game.
It's rhythm. It's flow of the game. Exactly. Like,
until you get to playoff basketball, then it's just a fucking sloppy mess, and it's whoever fucking wins.
In the playoffs, it's whoever has the better superstars.
Yeah. So let's get back right here. San Antonio, they have getting Jarris Walker. I mean, if they were to fall to 5, that's a great pick, because I love the idea of Walker and Jeremy Sohan together. If this is how
exactly
if this is how the draft were to play out, Walker is the perfect fit for the Spurs at 5, because imagine Sohan and Walker, because I think Walker would be your center, and then Sohan. This team would be so versatile. Now let's move on to the next one.
Collins, bro. Zach Collins resurging the career.
Dude, Zach Collins, I brought that up a few weeks ago, and I want to see if he's kept it up, because since the All-Star break, since they had traded our man, Jakob Poeltl, he was averaging like 16 and 10 at one point. And for the season, he was averaging 11.5. 6 rebounds a game, a little under a block and a steal game, 3 assists, 52% from the field and 38% from 3. But to be exact, since the All-Star break, our man Zach Collins has been averaging 16.5 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, over a block and over a steal a night, while shooting 40% from 3 on 5 attempts a night and 47% from the field. Zach Collins, baby, and he's only 25.
Yeah, feel bad for my Blazer boys because they weren't really able to.
He just got hurt. He got hurt.
It didn't work out. Noticing a recurring theme in Portland, but
let's go through that. Yeah, Portland, speaking of that, Ausar Thompson, if they do end up blowing it up this season, a Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, Ausar Thompson, Naz Little, not that bad. Indiana Pacers, Cam Whitmore kind of fits perfect next to Benedict Mathurin, Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Chris Duarte. Cam Whitmore gives them another wing.
Buddy Hield.
Yeah, I don't know if Buddy Hield
but Buddy Hield is about good.
Kassan Wallace, I agree. I love Kassan Wallace. People are saying he's like Drew Holiday of this draft class. A defensive first, pass first, solid 3-point shooter, 6'5" or 6'4", 6'5", out of your favorite school, Kentucky. Just kidding.
I do love Kentucky. Good pick by Washington. Surprise.
I mean, if Washington does have this pick, they're going to end up taking someone like, I personally think Anthony Black's the better point guard, but Kassan Wallace would be a win now player for the Wizards. He would be a more instant impact player for the Wizards than Anthony Black, but I think Anthony Black has the higher ceiling. Orlando, Taylor Hendricks, 6'9", shot blocker, playing for Central Florida. I love this cat. He's been flying up the draft stocks. He can play small ball 5. He's more of a 4, and in big lineups, he could even be a wing.
Sounds like a quarterback.
Yes. Dariq Whitehead. I've seen him. Yes. He's climbed up the draft boards, but I've also seen him go as low as like in the 20s. He's your modern day 6'7", 3-and-D wing who struggled with injuries. The next, Anthony Black. Anthony Black's the 6'7" defensive dog. He's basically, in my opinion, the Tyrese Halliburton, Josh Giddey of this draft class, who's going to be an absolute animal. Orlando takes Grady Dick. I think this is a little bit high for Grady Dick. Grady Dick has the same physical profile as Cam Reddish, 6'8", can shoot over anybody. But I really think Grady Dick is a better Kevin Huerter, just a better defensive version and a better rebounder than Kevin Huerter. But he's the same exact offensive player that you see Kevin Huerter on the Sacramento Kings. And then the Utah Jazz take Jet Howard, who is Juwan Howard's son, who's the best basketball player son that Juwan has. Just a shooter, can't play defense, has the frame to play defense, but chooses not to. Out of any of these picks, do you have any of these guys do you think are being overdrafted, or any of these guys catch your attention?
I really like Anthony Black.
Same. I think we've been all year been saying Anthony Black, steal of the draft right now. He's going to be underdrafted, and he's going to be the guy like Tyrese Halliburton and Josh Giddey that you're like, how the freak did he go close to number 10 instead of number in the top 5?
Yeah.
So let's go through the rest of these. Keontae George to the Raptors. They're calling him Eric Gordon. I'm surprised they have G.G. Jackson going at 15. I've been seeing him closer to 30. He's a really good player, very raw. He played on a bad team. Nick Smith, I've been seeing comparisons to Jamal Murray and Jamal Crawford. He's a good player. I think New Orleans would be a good fit for him. Lakers, right here, Brian Sinsabo. He's like this thick 3-and-D wing, hopefully, in the NBA. Chris Murray, he's kind of like a poor man's Marcus Morris, a lesser version of his brother Keegan. Kyle Filipowski, they've been calling him a longer, not as athletic version of Naz Reid. Maxwell Lewis is this 3-and-D wing. Rayan Rupert, right here at 21. I've been seeing comparisons to OG Anunoby. Jalen Hood-Schifino, he is a point guard in college, but I see him kind of being like a Grievous Vasquez wing version in the NBA, kind of falling like a Quentin Grimes. Derek Lively could be the Deron Sharp of this draft class, where prototypical old school big, but to fit in the modern game, he's just going to be a guy who rebounds and plays defense. Jordan Hawkins, arguably one of the best, if not the best, 3-point shooter in this draft class, just won national champion. Noah Clowney, modern day, kind of like a similar style of Jarace Walker, just, physical 4, who can play 5. Leonard Miller, I've seen comparisons to a bigger version of Lamar Odom. He grew from 6'3" to 6'10", and he can play basically every position and guard every position. That's the same thing with Colby Jones, who I've said is like a Josh Hart, Draymond Green mix as a wing. Donovan Clegan, I haven't followed him much, but his stock has flown up being the center for UConn. Jordan Walsh, great 3-point shooter. Same thing with Julian Strother. Was there any players out of these last 10 guys we just ran through that you wanted to talk about?
Maxwell Lewis is intriguing. I like Nick Smith Jr. Welcome to Houston, Chris. Where did Arkansas fall in the playoffs or in the tournament?
They beat BKU in the round of 32, but they lost in the Sweet 16 in a blowout.
To who?
I believe. Give me a second. They lost to Texas.
Texas.
No, UConn. UConn's 88 to 65.
Who didn't get blown out by him? Damn.
Yeah. So anybody? Wow. Yeah, it was a blowout. Anybody else on this list that you wanted to stop at?
My boy Derek Lively, the second out of Duke.
Yeah, I think he's the Deron Sharp of this draft class. Guy that prototypical NBA, prototypical old school NBA guy. Like if he came out 10 years ago, probably would be the number 1 overall pick. But similar to Deron Sharp, he'll probably be drafted end of first because he's a dominant rebounder and putbacks and stuff like that.
Colby Jack Jones.
I really love Colby Jones. He was in the draft last year. He was a borderline first. He's basically, if you mix Josh Hart and Draymond Green together, that's what you have. He's like closer to a Josh Hart shooter and scorer, but he has like the passing ability and dribbling of like Draymond, while like also being a defender that can guard 1 through 4. Love Colby Jones. Love.
I had to double check that Colby cheese had white in it. Yeah, it's like not the most appealing cheese.
Colby cheese?
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing like some nice aged Gouda.
Yeah, or Havarti. All right. Let me
You're
show
right.
What?
Yeah. That's a good cheese.
Give me
Throw that
1
on
second.
panini.
What is your top 10 right here? What is your final predictions for the Eastern Conference?
Every time Cyro has to go to the door or the bathroom or whatever it is, he gives me topics we've discussed. My top 10 is probably the list on the screen here. Oh my goodness, Orlando did get up to 12. Good for them. I know we just did this, but Bucks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Man, it looks pretty set in stone here, doesn't it? I mean, outside of like 8 to 10. Philly, Brooklyn. Damn, Brooklyn got him. Philly's gonna win that, but I think Boston, Milwaukee, man, they're just so good in that last game, the blowout last week. Kind of Boston still got it. People are kind of not forgetting about Boston, but if you're talking East, most people are talking like Embiid MVP and the Milwaukee Bucks, but Boston hasn't gone anywhere. Great team at home. They have the superstars. I got Bucks Boston, and I do think it'll go to the Boston Bucks. I think it'll go to the Bucks, but Boston is still a great team nonetheless. Tatum could just say F it. Same with Brown. Be like, let's go win a ring. Anything can happen. Cleveland, New York is going to be a great first-round matchup. I wonder how that plane's going to go. Man. I know, so the Bulls, the Magic have our pick anyways, but there's just something about, even if it was a blowout, say the number 1 seed Milwaukee, if we had to play Milwaukee in the first round again, there's just something about Bulls playoff basketball. When your team's in the playoffs, there's just something about it. You want to watch it, enjoy it. They usually are able to grab at least one.
So who did you say? Sorry, I had Old Chicago pizza last night, and it just hit me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had like a chicken parm from Old Chicago Pizza last night while watching the championship game, and then I had like an appetizer with some jalapenos on it, and that just all hit me. Just like, dude, no, when I mean it hit me, like when I didn't say anything, I said be right back, bro. It hit me, and it was just like I'm either gonna crap my pants on live, like, or I gotta run to the bathroom right now. So I just muted it and told you just to run. It just like went so quick, but I feel a weight lifted.
Nice.
Yeah. So who do you have making? I fully believe that, there is a dark shot mathematically that the Wizards and Magic can make it. I have no faith.
No, there's not. There's
Yeah.
4 games left.
Yeah. Your Bulls could lose
Are
every
you
single
crazy?
game. If your Bulls
Watch
lose every game and the Wizards and Magic win every game to close out the season, the Wizards or Magic could kick the Bulls out to play them.
That's not gonna happen. We're playing good. We're playing good hoops. I think we play. When do we play Atlanta? It's Bucks Boston. Bucks Boston might be a better Eastern Conference Finals than we get finals, depending on who makes
I
it.
think the Eastern Conference is set. It's the Bucks, Cavs, Nets, and then the play-in, I think, might shift around, but I think it's going to be Heat, Hawks, Raptors, Bulls. Bulls beat Raptors. Bulls play Hawks. Hawks beat Bulls. Hawks play Bucks in the first round, and Celtics will play the Heat in the first round. Now let's move over, and I agree. It's going to be a Bucks Celtics Eastern Conference final. Now let's go over here. I think similar thing. The top 4 teams in the West are set: Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, but the Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Thunder, Mavs, and Jazz are all teams that could. I think the Jazz and the Mavs fall out. You?
Dealing with the worst eyelash. It's right there in the eye. Oh my goodness. The West is a crapshoot. Who the hell knows? I'd go Lakers or Dubs.
I think the Lakers will make it out of the play-in and will be a playoff squad. All right. The Clippers, I think the Clippers will fall into the play-in. The 6th seed will be the Warriors. The 5th seed will be the Lakers. And the 7th seed will be the Clippers. 8th seed Pelicans. 9th seed Timberwolves. And 10th seed Thunder. And I got a Nuggets versus Suns Western Conference Finals. Unless the Lakers are fully healthy, then maybe the Lakers versus Nuggets. But I got the Nuggets going to the Western Conference Finals.
It's just not gonna happen, and I feel so confident with it.
Okay, so we're getting right here from Rocket News. He says Suns Clippers, and then Marcy says, "Give me Suns versus Lakers or Warriors versus Grizzlies basketball gods." I agree. Hey, nothing against you. I also, Chris, I also like the Suns versus Clippers, but Marcy, you got 2 good matchups right there. The Suns versus Lakers. Is that physically possible? Because of I think it is, right? Because the Lakers, if they were this,
neither are, I think, right now. But yeah,
right.
It's subject to change.
I think the Grizzlies versus Warriors can happen. And I think as of right now, Suns Lakers can happen. Because I think if
Grizzlies Warriors would have to play in the second round.
Oh, right, you're right. Grizzlies and Warriors would have to play in the second round,
but it's subject to change.
Subject to change. But I agree, Marcy. A Suns versus Lakers would be insane because that's a game where everyone's like, damn, if one of these teams loses their superstar, the other team's winning. And then a Warriors versus Grizzlies, it would be like the old generation versus the new generation.
Yeah.
It would be like the passing of the torch. Oh, if it's
really fun.
A Timberwolves versus OKC is physically impossible, and if that were to happen, that I think the NBA would kill itself. The NBA would just be like, "This is not allowed."
That would be fascinating.
All right. Do you know what time it is?
It's Bulls playoff time.
The fact that you think
Nap
Sleep
time?
time.
Did you ever nap on a cot growing up? Like in like a daycare?
Oh, yeah, or like when you went to the nurse's office and you were sick. Dude, I used to
Oh,
go
the nurse cot. Yeah.
You ever go to
Here's a
nurse's office?
saltine.
Yeah, you're saltines. You say, I have a stomach ache. Can I lay down? And you sleep for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, the good old days.
Dude, I used to go to the nurse's office way too often. Dude, one time I took like a gram dab before school, and I got like I got like marijuana poisoning. And I was like throwing
marijuana poisoning.
Yeah, dude, it was like my first year smoking, and my voice convinced me to take a gram dab with no water. Like
It's
15
just
minutes.
even the gram dab did it for me.
And like I was like 16 at the time, and I go to class. I'm literally, dude, like Stephen Hawking's at this point, like cerebral palsy, like, and I'm just, and out of nowhere, I just start throwing up all over my computer. And my teacher goes, "Can you make it to the nurse's office?" I'm like, "Nah." So they bring me a wheelchair. I'm so baked. I'm like cerebral palsy, like Stephen Hawking's being wheeled out this, just throwing up. And my eyes were ball sacks. And I remember they brought me into the nurse's office and they're like, "Did you take anything else?" I was like, "Yeah, I just took my Adderall on an empty stomach." And I'm over here like bug-eyed, like, and, like, my dad had to come pick me up, and my dad picks me up. And he's like, "You're just too stoned, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "I smoked too much. I'm greening out," and I was just greening out. That's what happened. I was just greening out because I took a gram dab and I didn't have any water. Went home, slept like 6 hours.
Greening out as a kid. Wow, that's a trip back to memory lane.
Is this Chet Holmgren?
That's Chet Holmgren. Yeah. Whoa, Rocket News just the hell? How? Did you already play it? Yeah, what the hell?
You already playing, you goddamn bastard? It's just well, it's good to have the NBA back tonight.
Yeah. I enjoyed my night off.
Well, tonight we have like 30 games.
Yeah. And then
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. 13 NBA games on tonight. 26 teams are playing. All but 4
fucking
teams.
absurd, man.
And the crazy part is,
dude,
do you know who's playing a back-to-back tomorrow?
the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Bulls are playing a back-to-back. The Nets are playing a back-to-back. Jesus Christ, they have like half the teams tonight playing back-to-backs.
It's kind of stupid. But you also got to keep in mind a lot of these games. It's gonna be just like Sunday where we had 13 games. So many of these teams aren't trying to win. So,
any closing thoughts for the people?
Bulls playoff basketball, bro.
You're the only one who wants that.
It's not true.
The Wizards playoff basketball.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
All right. The great people of DC want that.
I don't think they give a shit, to be quite frank with you. I don't know.
It's better than those goddamn commies, the Washington Commanders.
So stupid. The Washington Redskins. It's gay.
Any closing thoughts?
No.
All right. Be a friend and tell a friend. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like and subscribe button. Again, Armis, you are a god for giving us 20 bucks.
GOAT, man.
20 bucks.
Sheesh.
We've gotten 5 before, but 20?
Yeah, that was
You're too kind.
Bad.
Cheers.
Cheers.